guys, it's Kathleen and I am back with a what's sold video. So these are all items that have sold on either Poshmark, Mercari, or eBay within the last several weeks. This is not everything that I've sold. It's just some of the items that I was more excited about sharing. I mean, this is most of what I've sold, but there's a couple of little like $4 items that I didn't see any sense in adding into the total. So I chose 30 items to share with you, and I'll go over the cost of goods as well as any fees that I paid, just to give you an idea of what the profit is. So all right, first couple of items are all going to be from Poshmark. So the first item, I was super excited, it just sold last night, and it is a Ralph Lauren wool and cashmere blend blazer. I got this at an estate sale. I paid no more than $5, and honestly, I think I may have even paid a little bit less for this because it was the last day of the estate sale, but it was Black Label. It was a size 12, so it was a really good size. I knew it wasn't going to be something that was going to just fly out of my inventory, but I was okay with that. And so it took a couple of months for it to sell, but it finally did, and I accepted an offer on Poshmark for $80. These Chaco Yampa sandals, I picked these up last year during yard selling, probably sometime in the fall, right before yard sales started dying out. I paid only $2 for these, and they sold for $25. I feel like I had them listed for $32 and then took an offer of $25, but still really happy to move those on out of my inventory. As we get into summer, I am definitely trying to pull out all those sandals that I left sitting around in my death pile and get them all listed, because this is the time that they move. Okay, I picked up these Corky's Babaloo canvas red shoes in a size 6 at a yard sale. I paid $3 for them. They were new without the box, and they have sat for a hot minute. These have probably been listed about 6, 7, or 8 months, but they did eventually sell for $20. So I really try hard not to pick up any of the smaller sizes, but sometimes they move, so it's really hard to gauge. I thought these were going to go a little bit faster because they're Corky's, but I guess Corky's in sneaker version is not as desirable as some of the Corky's that are like wedge heels and things like that. Okay, I picked up 2 of these Soma Desiree Desire push-up bras in a beautiful shade of purple in a size 36A. And both of them sold within a week of each other, even though they were not new listings at all. So it was kind of weird. I paid $1 for each of them, and the first one sold for $15, and then the second one, I took an offer of $11. Okay, you might remember this yard sale that I went to where everything was $1 except for jackets. Jackets were $2. And so I picked up this pair of like, not windbreaker pants, I guess jogging pants, athletic pants, but they're vintage and they're by Nike, and they were in a size extra large. I paid only $1 for them, and they sold for $23. So really happy about that flip. I had seen on, I want to say Harry Tornado, or somebody picks up vintage Nike like windbreaker type stuff like that, you know, that nylon material that makes the swoosh swoosh sound when your thighs are up together. Anyway, they had said, pick that up whenever you can find it for a good price, because it will definitely move. And they were not lying, because that moved. And then I also picked up the same day a jacket, and it is a vintage lined windbreaker. This is in a triple extra large. I paid $2 for this because she was charging $2 for the jackets, and it sold for $22. So, I mean, to turn $2 into $45 pretty quickly, just over a couple of weeks. Definitely a bolo for sure. Much more of a bread and butter type of bolo, not like it's going to be, you know, high earning potential by picking those things up, but still something to be on the lookout for. Okay, I grabbed this pair of fit flops a couple of weeks ago at a yard sale for $4. If you remember, I bought 5 pairs of shoes. One was a pair of Tevas, and then there were 4 pairs of fit flops. One of the fit flops, oh geez, you can't say that fast. One of the pair of fit flops I kept for myself. The other 3 I listed. The two sold bam bam right away. This is the first one that sold. This is the Lulu Super Glitz size 6. They were all in a size 6. Again, I paid $4 for it, and they sold for $44. I also picked up this Polly Pocket complete set. It's called Midge's Play School or Midge's Play Set or something like that, but it is vintage Bluebird, and it had all of the pieces included. I'm gonna put it down as $5. I feel like I paid less than $5 because I think it was the last day of that estate sale and they were making bundle deals, but we'll go with $5 for the sake of argument, and it sold for $30. I was excited about this too because somebody right out of the gate on eBay had offered me $20, and I went back and I countered. I think I had it listed at like 38, and I went back and countered at 30, and she came back and she countered at 20. And you know, I had just listed it. I knew it was worth more than 20. I had seen the solds, but more than that, when you counter and you don't even come up a few dollars, that just tells me that you're just not into it, and you're not going to be making any effort to kind of meet somehow in the middle. I mean, I thought I was being fair. I thought it was a reasonable thing for me to come down $8. I had just listed it within 48 hours, but alas, did not. So anyway, she came back a second time with $20, and I declined it. I don't decline a lot of offers, but to me, that's just kind of, I don't know. It's just sending me the wrong message, and I just really just don't want to be bothered, to be honest with you. It's just not a good use of my time. And so I ended up declining, and then the very next morning I had a $30 offer from Mercari. So I was super happy about that, especially because Mercari no longer charges seller fees. So it was $30, like for real, with no selling fees coming out, which is really such a great thing. Can I tell you, Mercari, how much I love you for doing that? Because then even little things that I have listed, like sticker packs and things that only sell for maybe $6 or $7, I don't care because I'm not paying any seller fees. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, one of the first yard sales that I went to in the beginning of yard selling season, like at the end of February, beginning of March, when they were just starting to have yard sales again. This one was an indoor one. I picked up a ton of these hats. I do not sell hats on the reg, but I figured they were cheap enough. They were all $1 a piece, so I was going to pick some up. Let me tell you something. Those suckers have sold. I have done really well, and I still have a few more to list, so I'm kind of excited about that. And this is one of those hats. This is a Mario Andretti. It new with the tags, a racing hat. I don't know anything about racing. I don't know about NASCAR. I don't know about fishing, but those were the hats that I bought, and they've been moving. So this one sold for $10. I was super happy about that. And that was probably the fourth hat that is sold, and the others all have sold higher than that. So that's really a decent profit on hats. I even bought a styrofoam head now that I have to use to model my hats. So maybe that's making the difference. Maybe it's the styrofoam head. I don't know. Okay, I picked up these Rock Revival jeans at the same yard sale where I got the Nike stuff, where everything was $1, including jeans, including Rock Revival jeans. Can you even believe? I was so excited. Got a ton of Miss Me jeans too. This pair of Rock Revival jeans sold for $35, and they sold pretty quickly. So I want to say probably within 48 to 72 hours tops of me having listed it. I picked up these mini Tonka pewter sandals at a yard sale. I paid $2 for these, and these sold on offer for $18. I think I had them listed for $28, and these have been listed since last summer's yard selling season. So I was happy to finally move them out of my inventory, and happy with a flip of $2 into $18. Okay, I picked this up just 2 weeks ago. This is the Deuter, I think I'm saying that right, Deuter Woman's Light 45 by 10 or 45 plus 10 something. Backpack with a frame. It's like a hiking backpack, so it's supposed to be super light and semi-waterproof. This sucker looked like it was in like new condition. However, I did see some evidence that it had been used. Nonetheless, this sold fairly quickly. Probably not more than, 2 weeks, right? Because I picked it up 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I might have picked it up 3 weeks ago. So it's only been in my inventory for tops 3 weeks, and it's sold on offer. I had it listed for, I want to say I had it listed for like $72 or $74, and I ended up accepting an offer of $52 because what she did was she offered me $50. I came back at, I feel like I came back at like $58, and she countered at $52. And I knew that shipping was going to be a lot because it was so big, not so heavy, but it's so long. And you know that the weight isn't the real kicker when it comes to shipping. It's how long it is. And this sucker was long. So I wanted to offset that shipping cost. Plus I only paid $7.50 for it at that church yard sale. So that to me was a win. Absolutely happy with that sale. I grabbed these Sam Edelman wedge. They're like an embroidered type of shoe. I thought they were just beautiful. I found them in Goodwill one of the times that I was visiting my daughter up in Indiana. And so I paid $5.99 for these, which I typically don't like to do for Sam Edelman. Sam Edelman is absolutely 100% a bread and butter thing for me. If I find them for $1 at a yard sale, I grab them. The only reason I paid up for these is because, well, first of all, my choices were limited because it was Indiana in the winter, so there were no yard sales. So it was Goodwill or nothing. So that's part of it. But the second part of it was that these are so interesting to me and so beautifully embroidered. These are called the Riley wedge, and these are in a size 7.5. Again, I paid $5.99 for them, and I accepted an offer of $20. So not the biggest profit in the world, but at least they moved. And there was a profit had. It's just not as big as you like it to be. I picked up a large lot of these Thai Beanie Baby punkies, I think they're called, or beanie punkies, something like that. Anyway, I picked them up at an estate sale or a yard sale, and it was last February. And I know this only because I had just gotten out of quarantine with COVID. And so it was the first time I was able to go out and about, and I was still masked up. And so I just remember this sale. Anyway, these things have surprisingly moved. I bought them and I was like, I just think they're cute. Worst case scenario, I will just give them out in my prize box because they were like $1 a piece. But they all sold. These were the last two that I had, and these were two ducks. These are Flip Flop and Splash. They were new with tags. Again, I paid $2 and they sold for $28. And you know, it's funny. So they've been listed for over a year and they still sold for full asking price. I love when that happens. Absolutely love it. Let me know in the comments what you do with stale inventory. I have a ton of stuff it's been listed, some of those things for over 2 years. Probably there's some stuff that's been listed 3 years, and I just don't ever clean out my inventory because I always feel like, well, I've gone through the trouble of photographing it and in some cases packaging up. Some of the things I pre-package, not clothes or anything, but I do pre-package a lot of the breakables because I want to get an accurate weight and also an accurate dimensions of the shipping box because I've been burned trying to guess on that before. So I like to have it done ahead of time. So I just don't pull stuff out of my inventory, even if it's been sitting a long time, and then it surprises me and it goes ahead and sells. So I'd just be curious to know what other people do. If you just let it ride, or if you pull it out, or if you try delisting, relisting. I don't really do that with Fidelity. Every once in a while, if I've had like a crazy week at school and I know I'm not gonna be able to list, I'll run in and delist and relist a few things just to keep that algorithm going on eBay. But other than that, I don't really do it with Fidelity, and I'm wondering if maybe I need to start. If anybody has found that to be a benefit, please let me know. Well, I'm always up for learning new things. I grabbed this Lily Pulitzer strapless dress. This was in a bin at a yard sale probably 6 or 8 months ago. It was probably the end of yard selling season, late in the fall. And I found this and another Lily piece just in the dollar bin. Now, she had other Lily dresses that she was selling for like $15 to $20, but for some reason these two were just tossed in there. I checked and this one wasn't a Target one, neither was the other one. So I snatched them up for $1, and this one sold for $32. I got this skincare set a couple of weeks ago. I probably overpaid for it, $7. But I am not sorry that I did because it sold pretty quickly. So this sold in about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, somewhere around that mark. It was probably the exact same weekend that I picked up the hiking backpack. Anyway, this was like it's a 9-piece facial care kit type of thing, and it is by Number 7, which is not a brand that I'm familiar with, but when I looked up the comps, it was okay. It's not like Lancome by any means, but I mean, it still was all brand new in the package. Now, they didn't have expiration dates on anything except for this one like tub of day cream, and that had expired. I want to say it was like in 2023, if memory serves. But I just noted that in the description, and it sold for $25. Y'all know I love my new old stock sheets. And these 2 sheets are both double, both spring made, and both in the same pattern. But I lotted them both together. Now, they did not have a pillowcase, but I only paid probably 50 cents a piece, maybe $1 a piece tops, because it was the last day of the estate sale and they were doing big old bundles. And so I got this along with a couple of other sets. And this was the estate sale where I put back all of the solid color ones because the pattern ones seemed to do so much better. And I wasn't sure how good the bundle was going to be. In hindsight, I wish I had just thrown the solid ones in there. But alas, I did not. And so this one was a florally print. And again, I paid tops $2 for it, and it sold for $15. I grabbed these Echo women's receptors at an estate sale. They are in excellent pre-owned condition, really hardly any sign of wear. They are a size 8.5, €1.39. And I paid $2 for them, and they sold on offer for $29. I love Michael Simon, and if the price isn't too astronomical, I always will pick up Michael Simon. Now, this was not one of the better selling items. This is Michael Simon Light, and it was this pretty embroidered cardigan with all different fruit on it and sequins and everything, but it wasn't as busy as some of his other sweaters are that seem to sell a lot higher, but I thought it was still a great piece. I got it on the last day of an estate sale. I paid only $1 for it, and it sold for $18. I do not pick up every Squishmallow that I come across at a yard sale. However, I do frequently do a quick Google Lens search to see if it's worth anything. Now, this particular Squishmallow, Karen actually picked up. She paid only $1 for it, and it was a rare version of Jaren the jellyfish. So this is the 8-inch version of Jaren the jellyfish. This guy did not even have his tags or anything, and he sold for $20. So that's what I mean with Squishmallows. You really have to take a look. Now, if I see a Squishmallow and it's got the tags and it's like $1, that's a no-brainer. I'm not going to research that. I'm just going to throw that in the bag and go. Also, if I see a Squishmallow with tags, but it's got some kind of like schmutzy, like dirt on it, I'm still going to take it because those suckers clean up easy peasy lemon squeezy. You don't even have to run it through the wash. Obviously, you wouldn't want to if it has the tags on. And then some of the more collectible ones, if they don't have the tags but they're dirty, run them through the wash. Those suckers clean up beautifully, really, really easily. So that was definitely a good pickup in spite of it not having its tags on. Okay, this is the pair of Miss Me jeans that I got at that yard sale where they were all $1. This was another boot cut pair, also in a waist size 32, and they sold for $30. And that was an offer. I can't remember what I listed it for, but I took the $30 offer. I picked up these Teva Northwater Mary Jane type shoes with the Velcro strap closure. These are canvas. They're not leather. They're in a size 6.5, so they're a little bit on the smaller side. I paid $2 for them at a yard sale, and they sold for $27. I love Fly London. Fly London just does not hang around long. Even these Yalin, I think that's how you pronounce it, Y-A-L-I-N, Yalin wedges. They are in this adorable taupe color. They had a couple of scuffs on them, but still had a ton of life left in them. I got them on the last day of an estate sale, so I paid $1 for these shoes, and they sold for $28. I bought these Johnson & Murphy's also on the last day of an estate sale. However, the prices were not as great as some last day estate sales. So I did pay $3 for them, which if you are used to going to estate sales, that's a little bit high for shoes that are left over at the last day, especially when it's been running for 3 days. But they were in awesome condition. They were in a size 13 and they were stamped made in Italy, and I just can't resist anything that's made in Europe. It just seems to sell better. They had a lot of interest even from the beginning. Again, I paid $3 for them and they sold on offer for $27. I sold these 6 cordial glasses. They are by Innisfree, which I know nothing about, but it was etched into the base of the cordial glasses. Now, I have had these listed for well over a year, and this was a pickup where I was just like, I kept going back to them and looking at them and just like, they're just so pretty. There's just something about them, and I figured somebody else was gonna love it too. And then I did a little research when I got home because they were dirt cheap. I paid only $3 for all 6 glasses. The lady, it was the end of the day for the yard sale, and she was like, take them, just take them. So I was like, okay. So for that reason, I took a chance, even though, you know, 6 glasses, wrapping, packing, shipping, ugh, it's awful. I hate it. But it's just a necessary evil if you're going to sell anything that's breakable, because I do try very hard to make sure that things get there in one piece. And so anyway, I had these listed forever, or it felt like forever, at least a year and a half, and they sold full price offer of $48. Love, love, love when that happens. Okay, 2 weeks ago, I picked up this Patagonia for $2. Mostly because it was stained. It is in a men's small, it is a nano puff, and it had ink stains on both of the, wrists, I guess, cuffs. It wasn't really on the cuff, it was more on the jacket. Ink stains there and there, and then it had a spot down the front. Well, the spot on the front came off with just a baby wipe, so that was a win. And then the ink took a little bit more work, but ink comes off with a Q-tip and alcohol. It doesn't come off the first time. So you have to keep going back to it. And I just take it and just gently just swirl it around, see that the Q-tip is turning blue because the ink is coming up, let it dry, go back and do it again. And each time a little bit more comes off until it's gone. It really is amazing how easy it is to get it off. Totally got rid of the ink stains. This jacket looked beautiful. Again, I paid $2 for it and it sold overnight for $70. Now, in last week's Thrift With Me, you saw I picked up a bunch of Mrs. Grossman stickers, and this is why, because Mrs. Grossman's will sell. This is for 1 sticker sheet of rainbow stickers from Mrs. Grossman's. Unreal. I paid maybe a dime for these, probably less than that. The sheet sold for $7, and I still have another sheet. So even though it's a teeny tiny sale, I mean, it's less than $10 sale, it's so easy to store this and to ship it and all the things. This is well worth it for that rate of return. Absolutely do not sleep on vintage stickers. Do not pick up every pack of vintage stickers, but do take the time to at least check them out. And if you see something that's Mrs. Grossman's, that's vintage, just grab it. Somebody's gonna want it. I picked up this pair of slippers at the same estate sale where I got the Fly London Yallen wedges. And these were also only $1, and I was really surprised at what these were selling for pre-owned. These are the goody bonbon slippers. I knew nothing about them, and it was just really because they looked so interesting and just kind of different. So I did a Google Lens search and I was like, oh, these sell really well. Now mine had a little bit of wear, like it was apparent that they had been worn, and so I priced them to sell. And I paid, again, $1 for them, and they sold really quickly within a week of having been listed for $28. So here's another bolo for you, because I'd never heard of this brand before. But goody bonbon slippers, they sell. Now, at that same estate sale, I got these Wolke Lissa, Lisse, brand of sandals, or pattern of sandals, or style of sandals in a snakeskin print. Paid $1 for them. They were also in a size 9.5. And these have a really, really good sell-through rate because these are like those orthotic type of sandals. So they're super comfortable and they're really good for you to wear, particularly people with plantar fasciitis and things like that. So I will absolutely pick these up again. I paid $1 and they sold very quickly for $32. And then the last thing in this what sold video is another pair of FitFlops in the size 6, because that's all she had. I paid $4 for them, and this is like the Lulu Shimmer Wedge. And they sold for $32. So in total, that is 30 items for which I paid $75.59, making my average cost of goods $2.52 per item. I sold everything for a total of $901 even. Then if you back out fees of $117.13, that leaves you with a profit of $783.87. And actually my profit is probably a little higher because of not having to pay any fees for Mercari, but that's okay. That'll offset the 20% in fees that I pay for Poshmark because I only estimate 13% for eBay, if that makes sense. All right, guys, that is everything for this What Sold video. As always, if you like thrifting content, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I will catch you next time. Bye, guys.